general manager who's now 0 for 4 on quarterbacks can say, hey, I never stopped fighting for Russell Wilson. I didn't want Andy Dalton. I threw everything but the kitchen sink at Russell Wilson. You thought that deal was done? I'm still fighting for him up to the draft. I want Russell Wilson. We couldn't win here big, but it's not like I didn't try. It's not like I didn't do everything. Because I start looking around at this deal, and I think, I guess Russell Wilson's side could leak it, but you got to be honest. They got him a new offensive coordinator, an athletic tight end, upgraded on the offensive line, re-signed their fullback, and then re-signed Carlos Dunlap, their pass rusher. You can't blame, Russell Wilson could be leaking this, but Seattle does look better than last year, and they were 12-4 last year. This morning, I think Seattle feels a little better than last year. They were 12-4. Pete Carroll could be leaking it, but Pete's not dumb. He knows that noise in the offseason is bad, and he also knows he's never had a losing season with Russell Wilson. What's the floor for Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll? 9-7, and that's in the best division in football. Since Russell arrived, Harbaugh was with the Niners. They were great. Then McVay gets to the Rams. They're great. Now Arizona's spending money and got a star quarterback. It's a very, very good division. So my gut feeling is this, they call it forecasting. This is wish casting. This is the Chicago Bears front office trying to throw something out there. They're a bad trade partner. It doesn't work. They've only got the 20th pick. Seattle needs great picks, right? If Seattle wants to trade with somebody, it would be like the Jets where they could get all those picks back, right? Get a second pick in the draft, second pick, second round, second pick, third round. Chicago's got the 20th pick. They were a playoff team. They also have no quarterback to give Seattle in return. They're also up against the cap. It's a bad deal for Russell Wilson. At this point, why would Chicago? It's a bad fit. So this feels like to me Chicago is leaking this story so that Ryan Pace in the end can save his butt, can save his job and say, hey, if they go 7-9 with Andy Dalton, he can say, hey, we tried to get Russell Wilson. He can go to the owner. I tried. I made multiple runs. Here's the story. We threw everything at him. Nobody pursued Russell as hard as we did. Nobody was as aggressive as we were. Because this story's coming from somewhere. These are legitimate sources. Diana Rossetti, Adam Schefter, Jeff. Stories. They're all coming out with these stories. So somebody is leaking it. And I'm trying to figure it out on my phone. I'm trying to figure out who's leaking it on my phone. I was told 2 weeks ago Chicago made a run at him. And that was validated. But this story now, this feels like Chicago's thrown it out there to save their butt. So this is interesting. I've said this before. It'd be one thing if you had like a sibling rivalry with your sister or your brother. But, they lived in Missouri and you lived in Florida and you didn't have to see them every day. But if you had that sibling rivalry and, your brother was doing way better than you, and he lived right around the corner, and you always drove by his new cars and his bigger house. The kids had a great backyard and a swimming pool. It kind of sting a little bit, right? So when Kawhi comes to the Lakers, he's in the same city and he plays in the same building as LeBron. And I saw this story. Rajon Rondo got traded to the Clippers for Lou Williams. When the Lakers went and got Rondo, they literally needed a third scoring option. They're like, dude, can you give us 12 a night? AD and LeBron were carrying all the scoring. They're making this move for chemistry and leadership. Lakers didn't need Rondo for chemistry and leadership. Let's be honest about this. Kawhi Leonard's been a disappointment. He's missed 24 starts. He was awful in Game 7 against Denver last year in the bubble. He was terrible. He's not really a player that elevates others. They're now bringing in Rondo at the end of his career for leadership and chemistry, and he turned off teammates with some special treatment. Let's be honest about this. He's a great player, but it's been disappointing. And when you put him in the same building, in the same city with LeBron James, Kawhi Leonard shrinks. Doesn't really lead, doesn't elevate teammates, misses a lot of games. This year he's been bad at the end of fourth quarters. They brought Kawhi Leonard here to be their LeBron. And in the end, what are the Clippers today? Doc Rivers is gone. Lou Williams now gone. Montrezl Harrell was the sixth man of the year last year. Gone. Paul George in the playoffs, disappointing. And Kawhi, when propped up next to LeBron, is kind of limited. Can't build a culture with him. Now the Clippers are sort of a collection of players that wear the same uniform, but what are they? It's interesting. When the Lakers brought on Rondo, they really actually needed about 10 to 12 points a game. I mean, they couldn't trust Kyle Kuzma. Go back to the roster last year. It was an old team. Thank God KCP hit big shots in the bubble. Big shots against Denver. Big shots against Miami. They didn't have a third scoring option. That's okay. I get that. But if you're bringing Rondo in for leadership and chemistry, when you've got Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, I mean, Kawhi's he's just a talented basketball player. And it feels like this move, by the way, he's a free agent pretty quick, kind of feels like this move so far is a big disappointment. What are the Clippers today? They have great chemistry? Not really. Do they have a great bench? Do they have, do you feel like they match up particularly well now with the Lakers? Lakers have won 2 of the last 3 against them. I mean, listen, I live in the city. It's great to have 2 NBA teams that are interesting, and they're both interesting. But it's funny they bring Rondo for chemistry and leadership because it's like they got their scores. Really? This is why I say all the time. There's a big difference. There's about 4 guys in this league that are not only great players, they are chemistry builders, leadership builders, and culture builders. Steph, LeBron, Jimmy Butler, Chris Paul. Those guys give you the whole package. You get everything with them. Kawhi, now that he's had to build the culture, he's just a talented guy. And the league's full of them. The league is full of them. All right, interesting thoughts from the Dallas Cowboys. So Mike McCarthy said yesterday, it's not offense, it is defense that we're going to focus on in the draft. But there's a huge problem with that. And it's not necessarily the Cowboy players. That is coming up. After a busy day, there is nothing better than a long, relaxing hot shower. But there's nothing worse than the hot water running out when the shower's getting good. Good news is you'll never run out of hot water thanks to our friends at Navien. Navien tankless water heaters. It's instant and endless hot water because it only heats water when you need it, not when you don't. They make it easy to go tankless. Takes up less space than a traditional water tank. It's got a 15-year limited warranty among the best available. So with the Navien water heater, you save energy and space and save big on your water bill. It's a high-efficiency tankless water heater. Right now, also local rebates. Save more. Find the name of your Navien contractor. He or she will help you upgrade to a Navien tankless